Okay, so today we're starting our new unit, which is algebraic models. So basically, we're going to be using this algebraic model to solve equations. All right, how stuff algebraically. We're going to look at exponential functions. We're going to look at how can I simplify exponential equations, how to solve exponential equations, and how to do exponent laws. So first thing that we're going to talk about is using formulas to solve problems, so rearranging formulas. Okay, so a formula is a mathematical model that relates two or more. Can you guys read this? That relates two or more variables. So for example, I have the first equation here, which is P equals 25t minus 800. Okay, so I have two variables here. So I have my profit and I have my number of tickets sold. So it says might give the profit from ticket sales, P, where P is the profit and T is the number of tickets sold. So I have two variables, P and T. Profit depends on the number of tickets sold. Then we have Einstein's theory of relativity, the very famous formula, E equals mc squared, where E is the energy, m is the mass, and c is the speed of light, right? Technically speaking, you look here, you have three variables, three letters, but c is a known variable, so it's a constant. So technically, I have two variables, the energy and mass. So when I'm solving multi-steps problem, you're going to plan and organize. You look at the formulas. You're going to look at the information given, what the letter means, and you're going to plan accordingly. Okay? So we have what we call the GRASP method that I usually use with my students. So where G stands for given information. So you write down what values are given to you. Then you're going to write down what is required. So we usually say, okay, let's say I'm looking for T. I put T equals and I put a question mark because I'm looking for that. Then the analysis is when you write your formula down. The solving is when you substitute the given values inside your equation. And then you solve for the unknown. And then the paraphrase, you just conclude with a therefore statement. Okay, so given, required, analysis, and solve, and then paraphrase. Sometimes there is more than one formula that we need to use in an equation, and then we have to plan accordingly to that. Some things that you need to look at is converting quantities to similar units. So as we did in the geometry unit, like if let's say they gave you the length in a unit and then the width in another unit, you must do conversion first. Let's say if they give you centimeters and meters, you must do conversion. They all have to be in the same unit. Are we okay with that? All right. So let's look at the first formula. So the formula S equals 0.6t plus 331.5 gives the approximate speed of sound in air, S meters per second, when the temperature is T degrees Celsius. Determine the speed of sound at negative 40 degrees. So what does the S and the T stand for? S stands for speed, which is in meter per second. And then what does T stand for? Temperature, which is in degrees Celsius, right? So what is given to me? Temperature, right? I know that temperature is, so I'm not going to follow this, okay, which is going to be very similar, but I'm going to add things to it. So the given is the temperature, right? I know that my temperature is negative 40 degrees Celsius. What am I looking for? Speed. What's the formula that they gave me? Now, in the solution, I'm going to have to substitute my given information, right? So I know that t is equal to negative 40. I just substitute negative 40 here. And then I just use BEDMAS, plug everything in the calculator, and solve for S, right? So this is the easiest type of question that you can get. What would be your answer for this one? And what would be my unit? Speed is in meters per second. So that's my speed. And then I have to include that therefore statement. So therefore, the speed of sound at negative 40 degrees Celsius is 307.5 meters. Okay, so I wrote my given information. I wrote the required, so what letter am I looking for? I wrote my formula, substitute the values in, solve for the required letter, wrote my therefore statement. Are we okay with that? Okay. So here is bucket with a radius of 18 centimeter and a height of 18 centimeter to pour soil into a rectangular planter measuring 1.2 meter by 40 centimeter by 20 centimeter. How many buckets of soil are needed to fill the planter?
So we find the volume for the bucket, and then we found the volume for the planter, and we minus that from each other to find out how many buckets.
We minus. So we have a bucket, and then we're going to use that bucket to fill up the soil and then pour them into the planter, right?
So we add.
And then I want to know how many of these buckets I need to fill this planter.
Yes.
So if I find the volume of the planter and I find the volume of the cylinder, how can I find how many buckets do I need? That's right. Divide the volume of the planter by the volume of the cylinder. That gives you how many buckets you need, right? Okay, so I need the volume of the planter and I need the volume of the cylinder, okay? Now, volume of a planter is, if you look back at the formula, it's length times width times height. The volume of the cylinder, I think it's pi r squared h. All right, do I have all the given information? All right, and are all my units the same?
Yes. No.
What's different?
1.2 meter.
There is 1.2 meter. How can I convert that, and what do I need to convert it to? So I need to convert it to centimeter, right? So every 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. I have 1.2 meter. So how many centimeters is that? So you multiply the 1.2 by the 100. And then you divide by 1. So that equals 120 centimeter. Good. So I have my length, my width, my height, right, for the planter. And for the bucket, I have my radius and I have my height. So decide the formula to use for the planter. It's going to be volume equals length times width times height. So we decided that we have to use the volume formula. Okay? Why not the surface area? Because I'm looking at how much stuff can I fit inside of it, right? So I need the volume. Same with the bucket. I need the volume of the bucket, which is pi r squared h, right? Did I miss anything? I think it's pi r squared h. Yeah. Now we're going to substitute the given information or the given values. So for the planter, it's 120 times 20 times 40. Doesn't matter which order it is in. And what's the unit for that? Centimeters cube. And for the bucket, it's going to be pi times 18 squared times 18. $21.
$18,321.8 centimeter cube of soil. How many buckets do I need? So to find the number of buckets, I do
the volume of the planter divided by the volume of the, what is it called? Bucket, which is 96,000 over 18,321.8. What do you get? Buckets. Okay? To write your therefore statement, therefore, we need approximately 5 buckets. How do you spell approximately? To fill the planter. Are we okay with this? So you see that we looked at our question, overall question, and then we decided basically how to solve that question before. We planned ahead, right? We planned ahead before we started writing. Are we good with that? Can we look at the next question? All right. How many of you, before you start building something, you actually plan ahead? Before you go to the store and start buying stuff. Let's say if you want to put carpet, or if you want to put like hardwood floor on your floor, or if you want to paint, or if you want to whatever. How many of you actually plan ahead? Or if you want to build something for outside, right? You need to, right? So you don't go buy like 20 boxes, well, you need 3 boxes, right? Or you know what I mean? Good. And this is, you need math for that, by the way. A landscaper wants to estimate the cost of fertilizing. So this is what they do. When they give you a number, an amount, right? They're going to have to see what their cost is before they can add their own, right? Their own labor cost, and then they give you a total. If they don't do that, that means they're losing money, right? Which is not a good idea. So a landscaper wants to estimate the cost of fertilizing a triangular lawn with side length 150 meter, 200 meter, and 300 meter. One bag of fertilizer costs $19.98 and covers an area of 900 meters squared. She uses Heron's formula to determine the area of the lawn. The area A of a triangle with side length A, B, and C is A equals to whatever, where S is A plus B plus C divided by 2. Estimate the cost of the to fertilize the lawn. So what do we have here? So we have a triangle. What do we know about the triangle? We know the 3 sides. What do I need to find? It's a 2D shape in this case, right? So it's an area. So I need to find the area of the triangle. That's right. And the area of the triangle is given, I know the formula for it. So, okay? But to find this formula, I need A, B, and C, but I need also that letter S, which I don't have that letter S. So what do I have to do first? Solve S first using the second formula. Good. So I need to solve this S and then plug it in to find the area. Now I know the area of my triangle. What do I need to find? So I solved for S, I solved for the area. Okay, we've already done that. We've already found the area. What's the question asking me for? How much money do I need? So let's say if my area, how much money is it gonna cost me? I know that each bag covers 900 meters squared. Divide what by? The area of my triangle by the 900. So I know how many bags I need to purchase. After I find how many bags I need to purchase, then I can multiply by the price. Okay? Thank you. Good. So we planned, right? First, I need to find my area. That's the first thing. To find my area, I need to find S. I'm not gonna fill out this part. Don't worry about it. Let's do the solution. So first, find S. To find S, the formula was S equals to A plus B plus C over 2. Okay? So I know that A is
Two. 24? Okay. I'm hearing 24. Good. So S is 325 meter. Now what's the formula for A that they gave me? Square root of S minus A okay?
So I'm going to plug in my given information. So what does that give me? $98. Did you do the square root of that? It's already square rooted? Okay, and that's going to be meter squared because it's, oh, there's point? 0.3. Does that make sense? Now, I found the area of the triangle. Now I need to find how many bags. Yeah. What? Okay, I need a calculator. When you put it all together, it's that.
The inside first before square rooting it will be 13. Yeah. But it should be
13? The answer won't be 13.
13,330.
Yeah. You know why? Because you guys need, when you're doing the calculator, you need to make sure that you put this whole thing in bracket. If you don't, then it won't give you the right answer, that it will do the square root of this, and I will multiply by this whole thing. Okay, now, each bag covers 90 meters squared. Okay? How many bags do I need to cover 13,331.7 meters squared? So, is it 900 meters squared or 90? Okay, so the number of bags is the area of the triangle over the area of covered by each bag, right? So that's going to be 13,331.7 divided by 900. And what do you get for that? 14.8 bags. Uh-huh.
Do you expect us to write the formula?
Yes. What do you think? Are you going to go to Home Depot and ask them for 14.8 bags?
15 bags.
And this is where a lot of people miss that part, right? So you have to remember that you're going to buy something, right? You can't go and say, I want 14.8 bags or 3.4 boxes, right? You have to buy the extra. So we're going to have good catch there now. So we have to buy, so 15 bags are needed, right? Even if it was 14.1 bags, you still have to buy 15. Yes, because you can't just go short because you don't want to buy that extra bag.
It might sound 0.1 very small, but
Yes. And it's like, you're trying to build a dress, dress, you're trying to saw a dress, put a, like whatever it is, design a dress. If you need this many to cover the whole around the person, you can't just be short, but because it won't buckle.
Or maybe wear it with our sleeves.
Yeah, sure. Make it a little shorter. Okay, so to find the cost, I know each bag costs $19.98, right? Times 15 bags. So that's going to be $299.70, right? So 0.7, which is 70 cents, right? It doesn't specify in the question, right? Yeah, he's right. I have the same question. Are we going to add taxes to this? It depends. Because the question doesn't specify, then I don't have to calculate the taxes. But if the question specifies to calculate the taxes, then you multiply by 1.13 because it's 13% here in Ontario. It could be this is in Saskatchewan, or it could be in, I don't know. God knows where it is, right? So that's why we're not going to calculate the tax. We're gonna pretend that the 1998 include taxes. Okay? So the total cost if to fertilize the lawn is $299.70.